All right, welcome back to episode 3 of the RACEBOX Outside the Box podcast. I was told we have to do an intro this time, so I'm doing an intro. So now we have an intro. Maybe we'll get real editing someday, and we'll have an intro music and all the cool stuff that all these other cool podcasts have.
Are we cool enough for that yet?
I don't know.
We'll try.
We imported a Chinese man to work, and it didn't work well.
How much can you politically say? Is that okay to say?
It's so funny because Anna would have clapped back, but Moonshine can't. Moonshine's like, "Are we allowed to say this?" Anna's like, "Hell yeah, let's be racist."
Yeah, I would like to not get canceled immediately on the internet.
You're very white, so you would get canceled.
Yes,
that's true.
I'm too white for this. So that was hardly an introduction. You're supposed. Special guest is me today.
Yeah, so Anna's
my
not here today
rare occurrence.
Anna, we got mad at her if she doesn't talk loud enough, so we got someone who actually has a projecting voice. No, actually, we brought Alex here to talk about the LF4. So Anna will be back on the next podcast probably, unless Alex and I do a great job and you guys love it, and then we'll just fire Anna altogether.
Yes. If you want to see more of me, comment, or I don't know how podcasts work. Say something in some manner.
Say something in some manner. That's how podcasts work. Yes, we just say things in some manner.
No, I'm talking about comments. Are people able to comment on podcasts?
On YouTube, I guess so.
If it's on YouTube, okay.
Comment. They can't comment on Spotify. They can leave reviews maybe, but they can comment on YouTube.
Yeah, reviews, no comments.
Yeah. So far, we haven't gotten any negative comments. We get negative comments on our videos a lot.
Yep.
We had some guy today who posted up Anna, and he's like, "This is why you have bad customer service." I'm like, "Yeah, we have bad customer service."
Well, I guess at the end of this, if y'all like me, comment so I can come back and do some more. Or at the end of this, if y'all are waiting on revisions, then I need to go and never come back.
See, just get quiet.
We talk about this. Anna says she's doing the moonshine effect, where you talk loud, then you get quiet.
I start loudly and then I get quiet?
Yeah, you start mumbling. You gotta enunciate and stay straight.
Alright.
What happened to your mouth? Why you got so many chapped lips everywhere?
Last weekend I went to Colorado.
They went without me.
Purposely?
They didn't even invite me.
That's a lie. I went to Colorado. Obviously, I can't handle anything outside of Texas, so my lips got very chapped very quickly. And now I'm recovering.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
You know, when you kick this, you're making the camera move. You gotta stop kicking the desk.
Okay.
Move back from the desk, Moonshine.
Slide.
Move back.
I did. Now I'm not gonna hit
it. Back. You guys ever wonder why Moonshine's not on more Instagram lives and stuff? This is why.
Yep.
We brought him here because we want to test it out. We want to see how Moonshine does
for an
audience.
Alright, well then let's get to questions and we can see how I do.
You want to just jump right in?
Yeah, let's just start.
You don't want to bullshit a little bit more?
No, because I want to start with the first question. We can bullshit after the first question. The first one
What's the first question?
Oh, God. Why does Hussain bully Moonshine at work? I want to know this.
He's an easy target. It's the only answer. He's a super easy target. When I was a kid, I bullied people. I was a bully in school. And then I got bullied, and then I bullied more people. And now, as a boss, I can bully whoever I want because... So I have this concept that bosses are sugar daddies.
Oh, God.
And I told Moonshine this a long time ago. What is the difference between... So it doesn't work on a corporate scale because the guy paying your bills is the CEO and there's a whole board and all that. But in a small business, how is a small business owner any different from a sugar daddy to his employees? Because think about it. A sugar daddy, you pay them... Sorry. A sugar daddy pays you for services rendered. Right? Whatever that may be. Whatever that encompasses for the sugar daddy. In this case, I pay you for putting out tunes. And I am your sole source of income. Your whole livelihood is thanks to me. Therefore, I'm your sugar daddy.
What if we just look at it the other way?
Do you guys agree? Please comment and tell me if you agree that bosses are sugar daddies.
How about we
I'm saying no, but...
Or we can just view it the other way around, where sugar daddies are actually just employers.
Or sugar daddy is a valid employer. They should all sugar daddies should write that they are employers and should get tax benefits.
Does that mean if you have a sugar daddy, you should be 1099?
That's a good question.
Does the government count that as employment?
Excellent question. You know what? All the girls that have sugar daddies, y'all should be filing for 1099s. If I have to pay taxes, so do you. Yeah, pay your taxes, exactly. I could talk about payroll taxes and bullshit forever. Let's not do that.
I'm sure.
Payroll taxes suck.
Taxes in general suck.
I wish I could 1099 everyone and not have to pay payroll tax. Anyway.
I think you're stopping too early. It's not about payroll tax. It's about taxes in general.
It's true. I hate tax. Let's go move to Dubai. No taxes. We could run a big shop in Dubai.
Or we can overthrow the government, something like that.
See, white people can say that. I can't say that. If I said that, the FBI would be watching this podcast right now. I didn't say that. He did.
All right. Question number 2. Is this directed towards me? What got you into tuning? Or is this directed to you?
Oh, it's directed towards you.
Okay. Have you answered this question before? No? Do you want to join in?
I mean, I answered the question for myself. Oh, fun fact. Did you guys know Moonshine does not watch any of our YouTube videos or our podcast? He doesn't support the team, yet he wanted to be on the podcast. So if you had watched our podcast, you would know that I did, in fact, answer this question for myself last time.
I don't really have a good excuse on that one.
Yeah,
I would likely watch this one as long as I can.
Why? Because you narcissist. You're only watching it because you're in it.
You didn't let me finish. I said I'm going to watch this one as long as I can withstand my voice, and then whenever I get too annoyed by it, I will stop.
Oh, I hate hearing my voice on this podcast.
Exactly. I don't want to hear my voice, but I want to see how I sound.
So how did you get into tuning?
So how did I get into tuning? So
I'm going to fact check him if he lies.
A couple years ago, I met this really annoying dude with a white Q50. First time I ever met him, actually, he tried to sell me his lowering springs.
I did.
Like, first thing off the bat.
He didn't buy them.
I did not. I was a broke college student at the time with no money. So shortly after that, just chatting with him, I've always been interested in cars, how things work like that. I've worked on cars since I was young. I've rebuilt motors with my dad, things like that. And so I was very interested once I've learned that he was doing tuning, how it worked. I was asking a bunch of questions, stuff like that. All the while I was in school at University of Houston, I kept asking more and more questions because I liked the technical aspect of it. And I started helping out with RACEBOX first. Helping Hussain doing. I started with doing responding to Instagram messages and shipping, stuff like that. So if you were messaging RACEBOX back in 2020, late 2020, it was me responding to you. And then after that,
our Instagram followers went down once Moonshine took over.
Yeah, I want to see the data on that one. Then after that, Hussain started teaching me as I started wanting to learn more and more into the technical aspect of it. But I feel like a lot of my previous knowledge with how engines work carried over. Hussain taught me the remaining gaps that I had.
It's a scary thought that I taught him.
And then from there, then it's learned all of it. Then we deal with a lot of cars in person as well, so I get an even more in-depth experience with that. And that's how. I mean, I went to school for engineering, so I pretty technical basis behind it. And then from there, engines are a pretty simple basis, and then from there, tuning that is just modifying that to be more efficient and more powerful.
I'll add that Moonshine, so I used to live in downtown, and I would have Moonshine come somewhere. Before we had RACEBOX as a shop, I was just doing it out of my apartment. And it's funny because there's like a lot of jokes on like, oh, see, who's an apartment tuner, a COVID apartment tuner. But I mean, it's true. I was a COVID apartment tuner. But anyway, Moonshine used to come to my apartment, and then I would make him get me lunch. So he lives, at the time, he lived about, 25 miles from me probably?
Yeah, about 30 or 40 minutes.
So I would be like, all right, you're going to come at 10. He'd come at 10. We'd bullshit for like a couple hours. I think half the time I was playing like video games when he showed up to my apartment.
Yeah. I'd show up, wait about 10 to 15 minutes for him to finish his League of Legends, like the nerd he is, and then we'd finally start working.
And then we'd work for like an hour, and I'd be like, Moonshine, go get me lunch. Moonshine would go get lunch, and then come, and then I'd teach him for about 2-3 hours a day. We did that for 3 months? 2 months?
Yeah, but I think about 2 months.
Something like that. And then he started tuning in January. And I think originally we actually had him replying from my account. We didn't have him saying Alex.
For about a month.
Or we pretended like he was just my secretary and not actually tuning because we were afraid of how people would react. Of like, oh, Hussain's not tuning my car anymore. And it's funny because we still get this. We'd be like, oh, can I get tuned by Hussain? I'm like, I don't think you guys understand. Alex gives more shit about your stock turbo cars than I do. Like, if you're a stock turbo car, I'm sorry. Alex probably would do a better job. Sometimes I actually, after I'm done a tune, I'm like, Alex, do you want to clean up fueling for me? It's like if you ever see me sending email, like, oh yeah, I cleaned up fueling a little bit. Probably Alex.
I give each and every tune my whole. But tuning between me or him, whether Hussain's tuning it or whether I tune it, is going to be the same results. He taught me how to tune. We both agree on how to tune in the same aspects of how tuning goes, and so we have the same tune. Whether me or Hussain tunes it.
We do. It's identical. I mean, in real talk, like there's minor differences between how Alex and I tune. Like he pays he definitely pays a little more attention to like perfecting fuel trims, but in terms of the result that you get the same result whether he tunes it or I tune it. But yeah, so that's how he got into tuning. How do you get hired at RACEBOX? You covered that already.
Yeah, covered that one.
How big is Chidong? I guess you're asking this because of we use Chidong as a unit of measure. So Chidong weighs like 110 pounds. He's
like 120.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's too low. I'm sorry. He's 120.
130.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's 130 pounds wet.
Dang, Chidong, you gained some weight.
Yeah, you're getting weight, fat ass.
I took a shit today, so that's...
Maybe
like
129.
Yeah, 128.
So, and then now he's what, 6'1"? 6 foot?
I'm right under 6.
Okay, he's 5'11" and a half, I guess.
Taller than you.
Shut up. Yeah, Chidong's slightly taller than me. So that's a Chidong. And Chidong wide is probably like, because of how skinny he is, he's like a foot wide, I would say. So yeah, that's your measurements for how big is Chidong.
Yes, Chidong is our weight reduction when it comes to running a car.
Oh yeah, he's
the
a
weight
straight driver
reduction
mod.
is just him.
Yeah, it's a 10th right off if you put Chidong in the car. I'm not answering the next one because it's not good for public
Back to me.
broadcast.
If you never bought the CT4, what would you have bought? So, starting from the beginning, I've always wanted to track my cars to actual road course racing like that. So whenever I bought the Supra, that was the first time I really had a car capable of doing that. And kind of built that car more for straight line, but I did do 2 track days with it. And immediately fell in love with doing tracking. After pushing the Supra more in straight line, I just didn't have the same amount of fun running a 9-second quarter as I do just going around a track. So as I started getting more tired of the Supra, as far as just having occasional issues as it goes building a car making 900 horsepower, just little bits here and there you gotta build, supporting mods, stuff like that. So moving away from that and wanting to do more of a track car rather than a drag car, I was looking into options. I probably would have gone with Corvette if one of my close friends didn't have one already. So outside of that, looking at a car that is really track capable from factory and has a manual transmission, really only left a few options, and then obviously budget's a big concern. So the CT4, Cadillac themselves give you a track day. Whenever you purchase a vehicle, they'll give you a 2-day event at Spring Mountain in, I don't know where.
Why are you looking at me? I don't track cars.
Somewhere out west, like California, Nevada, that area. They give you a track day with the purchase of the vehicle. So obviously they design these cars to be tracked, and so they come with 6-piston brakes up front, 4-piston brakes in the rear, great cooling mods, spoiler aero. The CT4 has the carbon package, so it has even front canards, large spoiler. Most downforce I've ever put on a Cadillac, actually. And then
this is why when you ask Moonshine a question, you prepare for a long answer. Keep going.
So
that information.
So that all these features just into a good factory tracked spec car, as well as that it's under warranty. I can beat the crap out of it, and not really have to worry. So all that was just appealing on why I chose the CT4. Other options, I didn't really look into too much else, if I'm being honest. The manual is one of the bigger things I had. After I bought the CT4, I went and drove a G80 manual, and I really just was not impressed with the manual transmission. The CT4 has the TR6060, which is just one of the best transmissions you can get out there as far as manuals go. The BMW transmission wasn't bad, but I'd honestly probably spec an M3 competition over a manual base M3.
I will agree. The trans in his CT4 is butter. Like, yeah. I suck at driving stick, and even I love driving his car. It's very smooth.
It's a very easy manual drive, yeah. That
nice.
On top of the no-lift shift and everything, I just feel very comfortable pushing that car. It has one of the best chassis on the market you can get. If you read all the reviews from like Car and Driver, Motor Trend, they'll back up the CT4 as one of the great driving cars. So with that, I was either looking at a CT4 or a C7 Corvette Grand Sport. That was really about it. So ended up with the CT4.
Cool. That was a very, very complete answer. It's very funny because normally when I answer questions, I mostly just clown the person that asked the question or give like a mean response. This was like a very holistic response to the questions. Very good. Hopefully people who want to know what CT4 is got what they wanted out of that.
That's because you answer like an asshole.
Facts.
Make that one loud into the mic.
I don't dispute that fact. All right. Will Moonshine's car ever smoke Hussain's Z or now Hussain's Audi? I'm going to answer this one. No, it won't because it's slow.
So we have
You refuse to put E on the car. So on 93 it makes what, 470?
It makes about 500 at the wheels now that we've tuned it.
500 at the wheels and a 6-speed manual means that both the Z is going to gap it, and also my S8, my boat, will gap it, and so will my other boat.
I would actually like to do a roll race with the Z, just because on the Z on 93.
Aren't we doing a 3-way roll race tomorrow with the G80, the e-tron, and
yes,
and you're going to get gapped. So
no, it'll be interesting. So
it's funny watching the e-tron walk away from both.
The e-tron will walk away, but the G80 should be a good run because the G80 is all stock, whereas the Blackwing is just downpipe.
And Mo's driving it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna win. Mo can't drive.
But it's a downpipe tune with on the Cadillac, and then all stock on the G80. So it should be a pretty good race there. But
it's
as far
all
as the Z goes,
e-tron's got no mods.
What's your MSRP?
I'm not talking about that. All right.
Well, we didn't finish. The Z, I think the Z on 93, I think would be a pretty good race. So the 9-speed would speed it up.
Well, no, but on 93 you ran an 8.3 already on that car.
Did you really?
Yeah, on the last one. How did you forget this? You ran an 8.28.
829.
829, sorry, 829.
Yeah,
it would still the Z would actually gap the e-tron too, but the
right
S8
now,
would win. Out of all these cars, the S8.
Oh,
would win.
we did get the downpipe. Okay, I was gonna say I forgot that you got the downpipe exhaust on, but if the Z had a stock exhaust on 93, I feel like it'd be a good race.
Probably. Stock exhaust on 93 would be a good race. Yeah, 9s. Yeah, I agree. All right, what does everyone drive? I'm gonna rank this in order of fastest to slowest. So Chidong has the fastest one with the Supra. He never lets us forget it. Every time we go to roll, he's like, "Oh, you guys don't have anyone to race." And I'm like, "All right, whatever, man." Anyway, so it's Chidong Supra. Then I think my S8 is the next fastest with the 6. So Chidong runs 4. What's the best you run? 489. Yeah, 489, 60 to 130, stock block, stock manifold, 64, 66.
Yeah. It used to be Mo, but Mo sold his G20.
Mo was still slower. Oh, so he was faster than the S8. Yeah, so Mo would have been number 2, but his G20's gone. So now S8 gets bumped to number 2. The S8 on stock turbos and a downpipe. Everything else basically stock. Well, I did fuel lines and plungers.
E50 on it.
Yeah, E40 in the winter. This was before the interchiller too. It ran a 691, 60 to 130, back to back.
You ran consistent 10.7s and 3500 DA.
10.6s.
10.6s.
Yeah, so we did. So yeah, the S8's quick for what it is. Stock turbo still.
For a car that weighs 4,500 pounds, it is fast.
Yeah, more. It weighs more.
It weighs more than that?
Yeah, it's 47 and change empty, and then you put me in it, so that's like 5,000, and then you put like a full tank of gas. It's heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. So that's number 2, and then I guess the Z's number 3, which is kind of sad. We're getting really slow at this point. Hopefully Z will be number 1 soon, or number 2 at least. Then you've got the e-tron is number 4. So it goes Chidong's car, then 3 of my cars, and then Mo's car, and then your car. We'll find out tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow which one's quicker. I think my car is a bit quicker. I have more mid range. Mine makes about 540 wheel torque and about 500.
You should be quicker, but we'll see what the. It depends on your shifting though, right? Because this is not about horsepower; it's about actual time. So
yes, the 8-speed will stay in the power band better. The G80 is more top end, whereas I'm more mid range.
I'm gonna do a JB4 on the G80. I told Mo.
Yeah,
let's do JB4 and see how far. There's that one guy who's trying to push 9s on the G80, and I thought that was 6. Now I want to do it.
Yeah, I think on JB4 alone they've done a 10.0, which is very impressive.
That's what I want to do. I want to do a JB4 9s, 9.9 with XHP stage 3 drag mode.
We'll see who wins. I'm working on convincing Mo to start tracking with me. So
JB4 is perfect. He can just take it off when he wants to go tracking.
True. If I can get him addicted to that, he won't be interested in running a 9.
Track, toss 5,000 something pounds around, just kill myself. Anyway.
Then after my car and
are
Mo's
the other ones
car,
worth mentioning? Ronnie's car, and then you have the highlighter.
Yeah, Anna has a Civic Si.
Makes like 140 horsepower on a good day.
Ronnie has a 340i that will be fast soon, but not at the moment.
Yep.
And then I have my my VQ manual swapped Q50.
Sorry, yeah, there's still that. Then Anna's car. Anna's like bottom of the barrel. It's sad. I tried convincing her to get another car. She won't sell the SI.
Because what else is a highlighter? She likes the highlighter.
There's cars that have highlighter. Is that an OEM color on her car?
It is.
Are you serious? They offered that as an actual color? That's so gross.
But I think that covers everything. I'm looking at the camera to see what cars are left, but
that covers everything. The truck's going away. Otherwise, the truck's probably faster than Anna's car too.
You know, before the truck goes,
we should drag.
we should drag Anna's car. We should also put on the dyno. I want to see it put down 800 wheel torque.
Yo, do you want to toss it on the dyno too, dog?
All brakes. It would not stop
It's
that.
fine. You don't need it.
No.
Yeah, you use the engine braking to slow it down.
All right, we're gonna put the truck on the dyno.
Can you imagine dyno?
Like, how do you strap that?
I actually
It should
don't
strap
know.
easily. There's
Actually,
it should be. You can strap it without having to lay down on the ground. Actually,
Yeah, it's true.
be
they're
perfect.
tow hooks.
So
No, we should drag race the SI and the truck.
Oh, the SM will win.
I think the SI will win.
No, truck will win. You know what? We have a computer in front of us. Let's look at this.
Bro,
Oh my God.
the truck is gonna run like a 16.
Cummins 60 to 130 stock.
It can't even do 130. It's speed
And
limit.
diesel truck resource forms. Anyone ever
They're-
run in the 60 to 130 mile per hour drive?
They're all gonna be modified.
No, we're looking for stock.
It's limited to
like
105 miles an hour.
1.5 or 110.
Oh, that's so true. She would win because I'd get shut down at 110. Damn it.
You could look up quarter mile.
So we couldn't even
It's not
dyno
gonna
it.
track
What gear would you dyno in below 100 miles an hour?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be
Also,
accurate.
It has a gear limiter. You can limit it to a fourth gear or some shit. It's a 60.
Yeah, but no, we couldn't. It's not happening.
should
That's
still
so
try.
sad. In theory, it would have been fun. Okay, that's fine.
All right, next question. What is everyone's dream car? We're just by everyone. We're gonna cover me and Hussain.
Yeah, we're not going through everyone. That's too much work. I ask this question a lot. I guess because I own a performance shop, people assume I have a dream car. I actually don't. There's not like a single car that I just want and I need to get it or something. I don't dream like, and I don't dream of like driving a Bugatti or anything like that. I don't have a dream car. I have a bunch of cars that I would like to at one point own or drive, but I don't have one that's like my dream.
All right.
car.
So what are a few of your options as far as like what cars?
Chidong's showing me the what is it, the 80s and 90s 850s.
CSI.
They're beautiful, but still
So what is one or two cars that you would like to own sometime in your life?
I want a 911 Turbo. I think a 911 Turbo S is like the ultimate daily. 9's off the factory floor, not electric. Like a Plaid's cool, but it's only good for straight line and like full self-drive.
Yeah.
911 Turbo S would be sick. And I want to own a 911 Turbo S for sure. Beyond that, but it's not like a dream car. Like I don't like. I would also like to drive many other cars. So
Yeah, there's I wouldn't say.
I guess it's the closest thing I have to a dream car is a 911 Turbo
Yeah.
S.
For me, as a kid, which is the closest I'll probably say to a dream car, I wanted a Gen 5 Viper for years.
I was
and
going
years
to
when
say
was
a
kid.
Viper. I was just about to say a Viper.
But nowadays, there's so many cars I want nowadays. It all depends on what budget you're talking about. So probably like if I ever hit the lottery and I have the ability to buy cars, I'd probably buy a Viper, a Gen 5 Viper, a Gen 2 R8, and an F-Pace SVR. That last
No,
one. That last
no
one.
F-Pace SVR, no. Everyone knows it. You know why? Because you don't watch our podcast. But I talked about your obsession with the
yeah.
F-Pace SVR.
Oh,
last
I
time.
mentioned it.
Yeah. See, I told you guys. I wasn't kidding. He's obsessed with it. I sent him an
It's
F-Pace
amazing.
SVR yesterday on a marketplace listing. He didn't buy it though.
You sent me a Range Rover Sport and called it an SVR.
Is that not an? It's literally the same power plant, the same
It's
chassis
different.
as
It's
an F-Pace SVR.
It is
It
different.
actually probably looks better than an F-Pace SVR.
Wrong. Anyways, for those of
This
you,
is why I bully him.
yes, if you like the F-Pace SVR and you know what it is, leave us a comment, whatever.
Please don't encourage him, please.
Please encourage
We've worked
me.
so hard to stop this F-Pace SVR obsession. Please don't. Our non-car hobbies. I was gonna say I don't have hobbies. I used to have a lot more hobbies.
Well, you play a lot of League of Legends.
League of Legends. I play League of Legends. I play BattleBit, which is an awesome, fun game. It's like Battlefield, but with like none of the graphics. It's like a Minecraft version of Battlefield. It's awesome. It's very cliche. I'm a big hiker. Hiking and skiing are like my only other two hobbies that I have. I'm very basic like that. My wife and I, we go skiing like 2 or 3 times a year, and then we do like a big
You
trip.
go
to
more than 2 or 3 times.
Not like 2 or 3 times on the mountain. Like 2 or 3 times, like we'll try and go.
No, but I didn't last year. You went at least 3.
I went 3. Until only went.
Oh,
Until only went once, but
felt like you go a lot.
I do. I leave a lot
he's never here working.
because I'm never here working.
Um,
And then hiking. We do a lot of hiking trips.
you do, yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of hiking trips and overnighting and stuff like that. Backpacking. It's fun stuff.
I play tennis sometimes if I can get free time. Otherwise, I play Call of Duty Warzone. I feel like that sounded way cooler than it actually was.
BattleBit sounds cooler than Warzone.
Not very good at Warzone.
He's actually really good at tennis, though.
Sometimes.
So he says.
All right. Moving on. LF4 talk.
We talked about this already. Why did you pick the LF4, didn't you? Yeah, you basically covered this in your obsessive post.
Okay, so why
obsessive comment about the CT4?
Why did I pick the LF4? The LF4 is a good and bad engine at the same time. So GM being GM doesn't know how to innovate in amazing ways like some of the other manufacturers. I joke.
You're just ruining his entire audio.
It's good. We can delete that anyways out of it.
It's an advertisement for Cadbury.
Alright, so the LF4. So GM is kind of a strange company in some of the things they do. So as far as the LF4, it's almost as if, in my opinion, that GM treated that car as a supercharged V8 and then they added turbo. So the intercooler system is on top. The throttle body is after the intercoolers. I believe. It's a very weird design. The intercooler bricks are relatively small.
Most modern turbocharged cars have the throttle body after the intercooler, though. Q50s are like that, BMWs are like that.
Oh, it is after the. Oh, I guess okay. I didn't put. Can we delete that bit? I'm gonna restart.
No.
Because I'm
No,
like
we want everyone to know that you look like an idiot talking about your car.
All right.
For once, it's really annoying because he's filled with random knowledge that no one gives a shit about.
It's not necessarily
Really
it's not necessarily the throttle body's after. It's that it's very weirdly put up because it's like the manifold is on. The intercooler bricks are on top as a one big piece of manifold. The way that you get is like with a supercharger on top. So it's supercharger pushes the air through the bricks, then into the engine. It's organized the same way, just without the supercharger on top. The turbos on the side just go straight to the manifold on top, which is really weird as far as all the other turbo engines you see. They either have
very invested in this topic.
You either have front mount intercoolers, obviously, then that one's very obvious, or you have the air to water, but those are still all external to the manifold, or they're part of the manifold. Whereas this one is kind of strange on how it's located right on top, and it's kind of integrated into the manifold. The downside of that is that the intercooler bricks are pretty small. LF4s in general run pretty hot.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, so if you ever look at data logs like the ats-vs, even the Blackwing, stuff like that, they did improvements on the Blackwing with cooling, but
That's probably why they put titanium.
But manifold temps are all pretty high on that. But it comes with forged rods, and so they're a great platform for making power. And then as well as just the platform itself is kind of slept on as far as what power you can make. It is limited on fueling as far as aftermarket goes to an extent. XDI I know is coming out with some injectors pretty soon, so those should be more promising. Even so, with essentially two mods, downpipe and flex fuel sensor, you can run E30. And most cars, it's impressive. They make about 550 horsepower on E30 and about 580 wheel torque. That's enough to get you in the mid 760 to 130 with essentially two mods in a tune.
They make over 600 on full E, right?
Yeah, you can get about 600 on full E. To do that, there's a few options. You either do a high pressure fuel pump or fuel cam, and you also got to upgrade your low pressure. But yeah, for very minimal mods, they make great power. I mean, on a Q50, and that's all stock turbo, on a Q50, you're really limited to about 500 wheel horsepower. You can throw everything at the stock turbos, and you're limited to about 500. Even on a B58, you're limited to maybe 540 on stock turbos.
Yeah, but it's like very short-lived. It's like basically you kill the trans down low, throw like 750 wheel torque at it, and then you make 500 something, and then tapers up top. None of them are making
exactly. Whereas the LF4 makes all power to redline, and you can definitely get over 600 wheel horsepower with stock turbos, which is very impressive on that platform, and then the motor is strong enough to handle it. Issue with the VR30s, the motor isn't that strong, so for stock turbos it's great, but once you go upgraded turbos, that is your biggest limitation.
What upgraded turbo options are there on the CT4?
Not too many. I believe Pure makes one, and then I think Turbo Bay makes a set as well.
What kind of powers? I know.
Over 700.
Yeah, because Tap Out Tuning puts like on an older LF4 on an ats-v, they put like 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah,
did they?
Tap Out did over 1,000 wheel horsepower on an LF4 with and they did that with just stock rods, upgraded pistons. I believe they did head studs. I'd have to go and look at it again.
A light build, essentially.
Relatively light build, big turbos, and they made over 1,000 on it.
That's beautiful. That's so sweet.
That's impressive.
To see a 6-cylinder pushing that with just rods, pistons, and head studs. It's not bad.
Not even rods. Stock rods.
Oh well, okay. They're titanium forged rods. That's such a caveat. That's the same as when the B58 is there. It will be VR30s have to upgrade their exhaust. It's like, yeah, well, obviously you guys have a nice exhaust from factory. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
They have good rods from factory. So
they do.
Fine. Okay, fine.
But
pistons and head studs. For just pistons and head studs, that's insane.
But they have good rods, which means from factory you don't really have to worry about torque as far as their stock.
Do LF4s boom?
I mean, they can.
But do you see people booming those motors a lot?
They share the issues as B58s is that you'll go through a piston rather than a rod.
Like a
VR30 you'll bend a rod, whereas the B58 LF4
we do see a lot on VR30s with the cylinder 5. Other tuners do it too. It's not just us. Like everybody, it's like the one cylinder that almost always goes out of cylinder 5, and those are usually you'll see the piston.
Yeah, you usually use a piston on them.
So that's heat issues on a VR30. So.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise I think one of the biggest limitations on the LF4 is going to be fueling.
Yeah. What turbos did they use on the 12 and horsepower? That wasn't pure or the other one? Know. It must have been like a custom Garrett setup.
I don't know.
Cool. Well, there's a bunch of questions here, but you answered some of them, so I'm going to sift through.
Do you plan on drag strip?
You already do. You don't drag it, but you track it.
I don't plan on doing any drag strip with the CT4.
How hot has your oil temp?
I plan on
Alex.
I plan on leaving the
Tell all of your customers, you tell them maintain their cars, and you get mad at them when the temperatures are too hot. Tell them how hot your oil temps got on your Blackwing in the last track session.
So the highest I've pushed my oil temps to for an extended period is 280 degrees it held that for about 5 to 6 minutes of just 280 constantly.
He's proud of this.
I drive my car pretty aggressively, but that's why I picked the CT4. GM did build a very strong motor.
You know what's funny about this though? When he first got the CT4, he was like, guys, I'm going to track it, and I'm not going to mod it so I can beat on it and not worry about warranty.
Yes.
It's tuned.
Yes.
What happens when you push 280 degrees on a tuned car and then go...
The tune is very conservative. I kept it nice and safe. But it's all...
I wish you kept it safe on my car when you boomed mine.
I didn't boom yours. That was all your tuning.
That was you.
That was all your tuning.
Both of them were you.
Anyways, I don't plan on drag stripping the CT4. It's manual, so even 60 to 130 is not going to be that fast.
Both of my Q50s were boomed by Alex. The Red Sport and the old one. I don't let him touch the Z for that reason.
Aren't I dyno tuning the Z tomorrow?
Only because it's 110 degrees. I don't want to sit there when it's 110 degrees.
Okay. The reason I tuned the CT4 is I wasn't planning on it. Part of the benefit of buying that car was that it was a locked ECU. HP tuners then released support for it, and not even kidding, the next day I had the ECU removed and sent out. So, yeah, I'm great at resisting that urge.
Yeah, he convinced me that we needed to sign up for the beta testing. And luckily, HP tuners approved us. They were like, sure, you have a shop, you have a Blackwing, fine. It was actually nice of them, because we don't do a lot of GM stuff. So thanks, HP tuners.
Great results. It's been
running open downpipe safe for the car. You already kind of talked about cooling system. What are your do's and do nots for an LF4, and also I guess open dumps? Okay, open downpipe and open dump are very different. I'll answer that. Like an open downpipe, don't run an open downpipe without a dump, because you're not angling the hot exhaust gases down. You're angling them straight back. You're gonna melt something on your underbody. If you have a dump that faces down, it's completely fine. Doesn't matter.
Yes. So cars like the LF4, it's a pretty good catback. If you're really trying to push the turbos as hard as they go, and you're doing max effort tune, then yes, removing the catback, getting into the dump will provide more gains, more power. But the stock catback, or even just an upgraded catback, is good enough to where if you're not really trying to push it, there's no reason to ever just run a dump.
How tuning? Okay, this is a good question for you. So I helped Alex learn how to tune the LF4, but I did it. So it's funny that he mentioned that it's very similar to that GM took like a supercharged V8 and then made it into a 6-cylinder turbo. Because I would say that's true just based on the tuning. Like the tuning on the back end for an LF4 versus an LT4, they're like almost identical. It's not very different other than the fact that one's turbocharged.
I mean, there's a bit different because it is turbo. You have wastegate duty and
so outside of the boost control aspect of it, they're very similar. Very similar. The torque strategy and everything's all similar. The one thing that is different, obviously, is the timing curve is very different on a supercharged V8 versus, a twin turbo V6.
Yeah.
But I would say that tuning wise, the LF4 is very similar to an LT4. So I'm curious on your side. I'll let you answer this one. How do you find it different from a VR30?
I personally think it's very different. I think the boost control systems on the two are very, very different. The LF4 doesn't technically have a specific target boost in the aspect of the VR30. They're controlled in very different ways. And so the LF4 pretty much has a bunch of different multipliers that then turn into a boost target. And in a lot of ways, depending on different conditions, that boost target can move around. As far as the tuning aspect goes, to get that boost target where you want it, we kind of fiddle with a boost limit to get the car to hold. Whereas a VR30, I think, is a lot more simple car to tune. You have your very basic boost targets, all your correction factors, all like that. It's very, very simple to get the car to essentially target the boost that you want.
Ecutech also makes it really easy.
Ecutech does make it very simple on the VR30. But the LF4 platform also is different as far as throttle goes. I think it's more like B58 in that aspect, with the way that it depends more on throttle closures,
Torque and load base.
torque and load base with the throttle closures and throttle opens as you go through the power band. Whereas the VR30 will very quickly open your throttle, and then your boost kind of gives you that difference in power.
It's very funny because the VR30 is technically also a torque-based ECU logic. I don't know what you call it, but it is torque-based. But then it doesn't aggressively close throttle like how the LF4 and the Bosch ECUs and the BMWs do. So
yeah, if you
they're the same but different. I guess.
If you overboost on a on a B58 or an LF4, the car is going to cut close throttle on you pretty aggressively.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Whereas on the VR30, if you overboost, it
doesn't care. It tries to correct it via the PIDs, and if it can't, it's like, okay, I guess we're blowing up. And then you have a guy. Oh, Alex had a customer with 220 charge air attempts today. 219?
Yeah, 219. That's the record that I've seen.
290. What are you guys doing out there?
So that's the good option to add this in. Always check for a P14 AC after you do any sort of cooling modification.
Yes.
That even matters if you just open up your cooling system.
And if your car feels slow, it's probably a problem with the heart. Like, the amount of times that people have a tune, they go modify something, and then the car doesn't run right, and they think, oh, hey, is the tune gone bad? Did the tune expire? The tune doesn't change. It stays the same. If you have a problem, it's probably a safety that we've programmed in, kicking in. Usually charge airs. Like, charge air failsafe kicks in a lot on these cars.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it does. We have it very aggressive for that reason.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing we run into is really just skyrocketing charge air attempts.
Do you remember that one customer we had who was like convinced that it was the tune making the car slow, and we're like, do you have active codes? And he had a P14 AC.
Yeah.
I had a 10 email long back and forth with this customer being like really trying to explain to him why his car was like, but he has always come back, well, it doesn't do this on stock, so why does it do this on your tune? And I'm like,
because the stock tune does not have a safety
doesn't
for
care.
charge air
That's you,
temps.
boom. The stock tune does not care what charge air
With the
temps.
tune, we add a safety for charge air temps.
Yep. I mean, think about it. Infiniti doesn't even give you a check engine light for a P14 AC. They didn't consider it serious enough. Yeah, they're like, okay, yeah, fine, roast the engine, it's fine. But also, you're like way less boost levels on stock, right? So.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, either way, 200 plus degree temps into the engine is not safe.
Check your charge air systems. LF4 versus VR30. Oh, actually, answer the first one. LF3. I'm curious about this one. Okay. LF3 versus LF4, because I've asked you this.
So the LF3, that's the engine that's in the cts-v Sport. So the very, very similar in a lot of ways. I actually don't know all the specifics to myself, just because I haven't gone down that rabbit hole of knowing.
Wow, this is a very boring answer. I'm sorry, whoever asked this question. Alex is not well informed on the LF3. You know what? He'll research it. He's going to obsess over it for the next week, and then the next podcast.
I will come back.
He will interject and come in with his answer for us.
I will explain the differences at that time. But as far as I know, they're relatively minor changes. It's mostly just the LF4 is a lot more beefier. I believe it has better cooling, stuff like that, just to bring it to that.
I guarantee the LF3 does not come with titanium connecting rods.
So I don't think it does, but I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to speculate. But yeah, the LF4 definitely is going to be beefed up because that's what they've been the ATS, and they all designed those cars going around the track, so they beefed them up very heavily.
Did they really design them for road coursing?
That's really what they push these cars for.
Really? They're mostly used in drag. Every time I look, everyone's drag racing. You don't see. You're like one of the only people I've ever seen on the forum.
But as a manufacturer doesn't generally, besides Dodge, doesn't generally gear the car for drag racing. So that's why the LF4, the ats-v, the Blackwing is the chassis and the suspension.
Camaro too, right? They're all built on the same.
Chassis and suspension is really everything that they've done. They made the car handle very well. It's one of the best handling cars in the class. So and then as far as how the chassis feels and all that, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. LF4 versus VR30. It's not a competition.
Yeah,
I'll answer this one.
So stock turbo mod for mod from a dig, it's really not a competition. The VR30, if you get an all-wheel drive, can hold its own for 0 to
just
60.
It's on the street, but if you're talking on a prep drag strip,
Yeah.
the LF4, there's no competition.
Once you throw a drag rate on the LF4, then
drag radial, stock turbo, the LF4 is going to dominate the VR30.
That's the big difference. Like max effort 93, LF4s are making over 500 horsepower. VR30s are lucky to pass 450.
You know, it's funny. We get asked the B58 VR30 question a lot, but no one ever asked the LF4. And the LF4s they're within the price range. They're not that far
It's a very slept-on platform.
Yeah, like a 2016 ats-v is what, like 40K?
Or less, yeah. You can get them.
You can get them pretty cheap, and you literally for that you put what downpipe and a flex fuel kit, nothing else. Downpipe and a flex fuel kit, run E40, and you're making over 500.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at new Red Sports and new Blackwings, they're really not far off on price.
Yeah, it's crazy that we don't get asked the LF4 question more. I guess because it's not considered because it's a domestic car, right? No one really thinks about it. But yeah, I mean, LF4 is definitely out of the three. I would pick an LF4 any day if I was to mod it from the start.
Over a B58?
If I was gonna stick stock turbo, I think if you're looking big power, the B58 and the VR, and once you're going built motor, then all of them are the same. It doesn't matter.
The B58 I think the B58 excels just because of how much aftermarket it has. The LF4 is a relatively low mass produced engine. It's in the ats-v and the CT4 Blackwing. That's it. Whereas the B58 is all over. I mean, Kyle has an X3 with the B58 making over 650 wheel horsepower.
Kyle's car, it doesn't make sense. Like, for what I've done to that car and how fast it runs, I'm like... So he gapped my S8 the other night, and I'm like, you've never run a draggy faster than my S8. This doesn't make sense. But, like...
It's quick.
I think you just don't expect it. So, like, you kind of... I think everybody just sleeps on the hit with Kyle. Because they're like, oh, it's an X3.
It's a big SUV. You don't expect it.
And then he just dominates them, and you're like, oh, because, you know, if you're close enough, if you're within, like, 2-3 tenths of a second on a 60 to 130, and one of you gets the hit, the person who got the hit is winning.
But yeah, between the M340 and the Supra and all the other platforms that it's in, there's so much more B58s out there than LF4s, and there's, for that reason, so much more aftermarket. You have the amount of stuff, like port injection came out, within 2 years of the B58 releasing on the Gen 2, like with the Supra.
Yeah, Ecutech, I think Ecutech did a great job. Without Ecutech, I don't think the B58 would be as far as it is. I know BM3 and MHD exist, and they're really good, and there's some really fast BM3 and MHD cars, but if you look at the Supras, the fastest Supras consistently are always on Ecutech, right? And it's because the port injection integration is great, the custom maps are great, like it really propelled the platform forward.
Yeah. If only we could get Ecutech to work on the LF4, then I'm sure that would be amazing.
Yeah, or even put custom maps on the VR30, man, or PI on the VR30.
Yep.
But
yeah,
hey, we can all
that would be amazing.
We can all wish for it. So the best turbo kit. This was asked by someone. What is the best turbo kit for the B58? I don't know if I'm qualified to answer this, man. Like, I've tuned a lot. I'll tell you what I like, but I'm sure there's so many other options, so many other people. But a top mount kit, the spool or the KLM top mount kit are my favorites. And as far as a turbo, I think a 6870 is like a perfect spot for a 6466 is 6870 is like perfect for a stock motor car. And once you go, built motor, you can do whatever. Like we have Eddie Lowry, one of our customers. It's so funny. He has like a built motor, and I clown him for it all the time. He has a built motor. He has an HP70 swap on his Gen 1 B58. He's got a 240i and M240i, sorry, and he has a T3 flange G35 1050, and I'm just like, bro, you're like choking this turbo. You got a built motor that can handle so much more, and you crippled it with this turbo. So I clown him all the time because he's like, oh, why am I not faster? I'm like, mod your car better. Don't build whatever. He's got the mods ready to go. Eddie, I love you. Don't if you watch this.
So I think best is also a pretty open-ended question. So I mean, it depends on what your constraints are. If you're looking at best bang for your buck, the Big Boost is a very affordable kit to perform just pretty much right there with the others. The Super ran a Big Boost kit for a long time, and it ran would you run the 489 in? Was that the Big Boost kit ran 4.89? So
the B58 has a lot of options. So like the DAW Ultra Flows are good turbos. They make good power. We did Ben's car. The Pure 50, we made good power on your car. Yeah, when it was your car, the Supra, when it was on a Pure 50, it's. I mean, there's a lot of turbo kits, man. But if you want like my opinion, like the best, like if you're gonna spend all the money, get a KLM or a spool.
Yeah, KLM has great fit and finish. It's a very pretty
KLM
kit.
I know Ajay's my boy, but the KLM kit is so much prettier. It's also much more expensive than a school kit.
It's very expensive. So yeah, you get in that case you get what you pay for in the aspect of you're paying a lot for how it looks. If it's a top mount, it's you're showing it off at that point. But yeah, big boost, best bang for your buck at that price. But yeah, a lot of options. If you're looking for a hybrid, Period 50 would be my go-to.
DAW's right up there. The hybrids, you can't go wrong. DAW and Period 50, they both have good.
I'm just biased because that's what I had.
Yeah, it's fine. Why does Tyler shut up? Oh god. Yeah, Tyler's one of my Tyler's one of my OG customers. I tuned him, I think, almost 4 years ago on his Q50, and now he has a Gen 1 BMW, and he's got like he's got an MPR 1200 turbo on his car with a GFB control. He doesn't even have port injection. Anyway, why he gets this code? It's called the 1F053C, and some Gen 1 BMWs always get it where it's literally called unwanted acceleration. Like there's an acceleration monitoring stat in the car, I guess. I don't know what to say. It gets mad essentially when you pick up speed too quickly. It literally is acceleration monitoring. It throws the car in limp mode. It generally only happens on cars with DSC on. He has a DSC off, and it keeps happening. And we've been trying to work through. I think it's a bug in his software. I'm gonna have him try a different calibration idea if the last revision doesn't work. So there's your answer, Tyler. Stop messaging me. Stop asking on podcasts.
Fun question. Why did Dongi inherit this Supra?
Because I encourage everybody in the shop to make bad financial decisions. That's the short answer.
So yeah, so it was mostly we built the car. I built the car for straight line. After doing ACO, we cracked the valve cover, and that was kind of where I was done with it. And I was like, I don't really want it anymore. So I replaced the valve cover. I fixed it, got it all working.
But he never got over it. He was always a baby about it. I'm afraid it's going to happen. And you know what's funny? The amount of problems that Alex had while he had the Supra.
None.
And then Chidong has had zero.
None.
Like, Chidong... Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, the drive shaft, the carrier bearing doesn't count. Okay, you should have upgraded that a long time ago.
Are you just going to ignore the transmission?
Oh, yeah. So...
Okay.
We'll get there in a second.
That's not his fault, though.
We'll get there in a second. So I was... obviously building more and more into the car. After doing track days and stuff, I kind of kept building it to be a straight line car, and I kind of reached a point where I was like, why am I doing this? I enjoyed tracking more. That kind of geared me to wanting to move on, and that's what geared me towards the CT4, was really wanting to just track the car, don't care about straight line speed. So at that point, I was like, oh, I want to sell it. Chidong showed an interest in it. It was nice to keep it in the RACEBOX family, so... That
was the goal to keep, because it was a fast...
It's a fast...
780 horsepower.
Yeah, fast,
I don't
car.
want to get rid of this. It genuinely is one of my most exciting cars to be in for a 60 to 130. That thing's dramatic.
It's a very fun car. So we transferred everything over to Chidong. It's now his. I had a lot of issues with it, just as we just continue building and increasing powers, adding supporting mods like the valve cover, catch can, stuff like that.
It's still on stock manifold.
Still stock manifold. Yeah, and then Chidong, the only issue he had was transmission. It had a stage 0 from Pure.
Yeah, we thought it was a stage 1, so we pushed this hard, and we... Do you know, to Pure's credit though, that stage, considering it was a stage 0 transmission,
it held on.
It held at 750 wheel torque for a long ass time before blowing up.
So yeah, all he had to do with that transmission eventually did go.
And then Pure hooked it up too. They were nice about getting us a stage 1 on a good
they
deal.
gave us a great deal. We did a Pure stage 1, and then it's been
great.
flawless since.
Yeah. Aside from the overfill, the procedure to fill is a bit hard, but that's on us. We got it filled right on the stage 1, and after that, you've had no issues.
Yeah.
He just shrugged. He's always afraid. Every time he goes out, he's like, guys, he's like, tonight's the night, guys. And he just comes back, oh, it's fine. Like, you've done what, like 100 passes? Probably more. It has to be more.
Or even whenever I had it, we did a bunch of passes. I floored it all the time. I tracked it.
I think he's done at least 100 draggy passes. And, like, the roll racing nights are, like, countless. Like, I don't know how many pulls you probably do.
To be fair, they can hear me, by the way, but to be fair, I don't get races, bro, when I go on those meets. Nobody wants to race a fucking Supra.
It's so funny because they're not even that fast compared to other cars in Houston. You know, he gets bullied on because he gets picked on by the cars that are way faster than him, but nobody who's like around the same times wants to race him.
The second anybody gets their car done and runs like a 4,
like we want to race this RACEBOX,
and they all call me out.
Yeah, he barely touched a 4. Now anyone's deep into the 4s. Like, hey, I want to run.
Running like the cut like a 4.4, 60 to 130, and like I want to race Alex now. It's like it's not even close. It's silly, but.
All right, I think that covers that one.
Yeah, potential for DI versus PI. These are just general questions you guys asked, so I'm gonna go through these. Shorties are long tubes, 3-inch. We talked about this, but I'm just saying again, you get the shorties. Just get the 3-inch shorties. Easier install. There's not much power gain on the long tubes.
It's easier to install. As far as the brands out there, as far as from my look, the shorties are consistent. I like those. Those are very easy to tune. The good feeling. The long tubes tend to vary some more. I don't know if it's just having to fit them in different intakes, but we get better MAF readings on a shorty. I prefer the shorties. I think they're better. They're cheaper, easier to install. They're just easier, better intake. So go with the shorties over the long tubes.
3-inch shorties.
In my opinion.
Sure. DI versus PI. If you're on, depends on your needs, man. If you're trying to go like, this has to be geared towards a B58 because it's not VR30. And the question of DI versus PI as a whole, like in car technology, I guess, DI is a much better technology. The only downside is that we don't have a lot of aftermarket support for DI cars yet. So we're looking at that's the struggle that everyone comes up with when they're trying to make power is, I can't make power on DI. But if you look into the actual technology and the benefits of direct injection versus port injection, direct injection is just better for everything overall, other than your valves. Intake valves get carbon deposits, but beyond that, DI is just superior technology. It's just not great for performance applications at this point in time.
Yeah.
I'm sure as more DI aftermarket support comes out, XDI. On the VR30, I think VR30 has the most amazing DI support of any platform out there. The fact that we can run essentially double the OEM flow on upgraded injectors, and we don't sacrifice daily drivability.
Yep, a lot of the modern ones are very good. Yeah. I
think what's cool is the DI and port injection cars like the Audis, and I think the new Coyotes are also they have PI, right? But a lot of the Audis that have and Volkswagen, I guess, they have the DI and PI. That's sick because you basically have X-ray injection when it needs it. It's integrated into the car. It's not anything separate. That's essentially what Ecutech did with the B58. I think DI plus PI is a perfect combo.
Yeah, from an OEM standpoint, the DI is better. It's more efficient. You get better control over what's in the combustion. It's a better system, and from a manufacturer standpoint. PI then adds the benefits of adding fuel whenever you need it, and then you can get the cleaning benefits on the
that a DI system wouldn't otherwise have. Yeah, and when you're daily driving, it's DI. I think from a tuning standpoint, PI is way easier. When we tune VQs and VR38s, fueling on those cars is a joke compared to how much work we have to put into dialing injectors on VR30s. Yeah. But I think that's and not just us, all tuners on the VR30 platform that are tuning upgraded injectors, that's a testament to the quality of the injectors that we're getting as aftermarket support, but also the tuning that we all do, man. The VR30 is a unique platform in that there's a lot of really good tuners in the VR30. I mean, I would like to say we're the best because I own RACEBOX and it's self-serving, but in general, it's a nice platform. There's a lot of good options.
Yeah, and a lot of the new DI has been very good at keeping drivability good. I know some of the early options definitely had some rough bits here and there. And so
good times.
DWs
on the KDI injectors. Those were a pain.
Those are a pain for drivability. But now a lot of the newest ones. One of my personal favorites are the AMS Stage 2s as far as drivability goes. Those are very smooth.
4 years ago, I would have never said that. I would have never imagined that I'd be sitting on a podcast saying that. But genuinely, AMS did a good job with the Stage 2 injectors.
Yep, they are great.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the newest, latest releases on DI have improved that drivability, and now they are a great all-around injector. VR30, at least what we're talking about.
Any potential for traction control tuning?
So on what we do on the VQ is
custom maps.
We use custom maps for traction control. The way it works is you're using a slip angle on the wheel to immediately adjust ignition timing rather than having throttle closures, which is slower to react. We can adjust ignition timing based on slip angle to provide a much faster, responsive traction control. With the VR30, so a regular VQ in stock form, traction control is a throttle closure. The VR30 with the Ecutech, the traction control is a fuel cut. If we had the custom maps, we could implement a ignition reduction and retard initial timing to have more linear, more adjustable traction control. But that would require custom maps the same way that we do it on the VQ.
Which we don't have. Ask Ecutech for custom maps. Ecutech, Tobin, Lucan, if any of you watch this, please give me custom maps. It would change our lives.
Yeah, custom maps would really be the leap forward VR30.
The Cyvex worth, yes. They're asking if you should get an LSD or a Cyvex if you're all-wheel drive. Get the Cyvex first. It is incredible. It was a great add-on. It was fantastic. we've seen cars go from like a 179 to like a 1.6 just from adding a Cyvex.
Yeah, it definitely shaves off a good 0.1, 0.2 out of the quarter mile out the box.
Yeah.
We can definitely turn up launch controls. I've tuned a lot of cars, but we'll down launch control right on that verge of traction. They'll add a Cyvex, and we can turn it up further from there. So it definitely does help. It's great. AMS did great on the base calibration on there as well.
Yeah. Do you need a catch can? Yes. It doesn't hurt. Get
It's
it.
a good addition. Make sure
if you're changing oil like every 1,000 miles, it doesn't matter. But if you like run like 5,000 miles, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. Get a catch can.
Yeah, catch can is also good. It's just make sure that you don't introduce a boost leak. Make sure everything's nice and tight, and be careful on the install.
The last 2 questions are for you.
You need to answer these?
Yeah, you have to answer them. They're questions.
All right. One of the last questions is am I pronouncing his name right?
I think so. Ata
Wants to
Man,
know.
I'm sorry if we're not pronouncing it. I feel bad. Like it's an Arabic name. I should know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, you should know of all people.
Ata.
I have an
Ata.
excuse. I'm white.
Ata.
Ata wants to know.
man.
He wants to know how much we love him. He's been a great customer of ours. He asked a bunch of questions. Anyone can ask me questions. I'm happy to answer. The more knowledgeable you are on your car, the more likely you are to keep it well maintained. Keep it reliable. And
I was going to say the more knowledgeable you are on your car, the more Alex is going to engage with you. Alex writes like essays back and forth with some customers. So like, yeah, it's nice when we have people who like actually want to engage us and ask the right questions, because then we can actually share more knowledge that way.
Yeah, and like I said, the more knowledgeable you are, the better you are to be able to take care of your car. The more you'll understand what's going on, things like that. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Email me with all the questions you have. Happy to answer there and happy to better that process.
Can they get a good night kiss from you, Alex? Give them a kiss on the mic. Go. Chirag's cringing right now.
Chidang, please remove that.
Keep it. They're going to like it. All right, I think that's it, right? Anything else you want to talk about after your first podcast? Well, my third, but your first. I really hope the audio quality is better. Please, guys, like, some of you sent us like mics and stuff, and I'm sorry I didn't take your advice yet. We're just trying to make our setup work. If this still doesn't work, I'm probably just going to have one of you guys like spec out a whole setup for us for like a podcasting setup.
It's a work in progress. If any of y'all are audio experts, if you work in the business, let us know. We would love to figure out how to
local,
properly set
just
it
come
up.
here, bring me products to try, and I'll buy them. Like, that's the easiest thing. If you come here with a full setup, put it together, and make me record a podcast, and it's like crystal clear and crisp, man, I'll just buy everything from you. Like, I hate researching things, bro. It's such a every single time it's like such a rabbit hole. It's like go find stuff. So hey, Ryan, one of our local customers, Ryan, dude, you sent me those mics and all that. If you have them, just come. Let me try them, please. Show me how this works. Get me a mixer. Chirong sucks at all this. Is Ronnie just moaning outside?
No, I think it's power tools.
No, that was Ronnie moaning.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. You can't hear it on the mics.
I heard it.
Oh, lovely.
Nice. It came. You guys heard Ronnie moan. That's all the time in the shop, by the way. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that about covers it.
Now he's working with a power tool.
That's what I heard earlier. It was always a power tool.
No, he moaned the first time. Okay, Ronnie's moans sound like power tools anyway, so yeah, that covers it. Thanks for listening. We'll come back next time with a better podcast and more. Not that this was bad, just we're always improving.
We're learning and improving.
Just like our tunes.
If you have comments on what you disliked on the podcast, what you think we can improve on, go ahead, comment that. It's podcast number 3, so we got room to go.
All the problems are both Alex's fault. This Alex and Chidong.
Yeah, it's
Moonshine and Chidong.
Hussain exclusively tries to hire Alexes, so he can just blame Alex for anything.
It's also an easy name to spell and forge signatures and other things.
Yes, although then we have 12 nicknames, so no one knows who's who.
Hey, yo. All right. Have a good night or day or whenever. Goodbye. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Ta-ta. Adios.
Auf Wiedersehen.
What?